I mean,
Have you started recording?
yes.
What happened yesterday?
Yesterday I went back
You
home.
overslept.
Then I woke up at like 9 something. Then I just saw your message. Just opened the phone lah.
That's what I thought.
You thought, right? So we can start the question. Start in the interview.
Okay lah, I'll try my best to answer your question.
Okay.
And while we're doing it, you can also prompt me lah if you feel like you want more information.
Alright. So the title of my research will be students focus in class. And the objective is to find out the struggle of a teacher in maintaining students focus in the class. So for the first question, I want to ask you, what are the main challenges in maintaining students focus in the classroom?
Yeah, well, I think there are several challenges when we want to maintain the student focus in class. For one, it's going to be how to keep the lesson interesting and engaging. And the second one, to get the students to pay attention to what we say while we are teaching it to them. And then keeping the students alert while we are conducting the lesson. I mean, that's the main thing, I think. The main thing that if we want to maintain students' attention, that we have to give proper consideration.
I see. So may I ask you, sir, for the second question, does the students' intelligence related to how much they can focus in class?
This refers to the second question, right?
Yeah, second question.
Okay, so my answer would be yes and no. Yes and no, because I mean, for those intelligent students, if they are able to understand the lesson, the concept that we are trying to teach them, they are able to do it. They can catch on very quickly and able to do the things that we ask them to do. So this kind of achievement or achievement during the lesson will make them more focused in class because they can do it and they are learning something new. Otherwise, for those who are not so who do not perform well in class, they will be turned off and put off by the things that we are teaching them in class. So in that way, we can say that those people with certain degree of intelligence are much more focused and much more engaged in classroom, while those who find it difficult, they will actually tend to turn off during the classroom. However, there is a certain breed of students. I mean, there are certain types of students who, I mean, they are not that. I'm trying to figure out a better phrase to describe them. Okay, they're not so intelligent. Okay, they're not so intelligent. However, these students are the type that are hardworking, so they have this particular thing in them, grit, G-R-I-T, grit. So this type of students, this breed of student, they endure the classroom. They want to learn, and at the end of the day, they come out. They come out to be the better version of themselves. They relish the challenge that they have in the classroom, and they focus 100% because they want to be better. So these kind of students are a rare breed lah. This got nothing to do with intelligence or not intelligent, but this got something to do with their psychology, their mindset, their frame of thinking. Okay, any more? You want to know about that one?
So for the second question, it's more about their spirit in a way, like how much are they willing to work on themselves and how smart they are, basically.
Yeah, in a way, we are talking about one is the the level of intelligence, and second one, it's about their temperament, their what motivates them. So this is more related to psychology, I think. So yes. So my back to the main question here, it's yes and no.
Yes and no. I see.
You get me?
All
You
right.
get me what I'm trying
So
to say?
yeah, I get you. All right. So I think we can move on to the question. So do you think that the
Mm.
students' background, for example, their home environment, impacts the way they act in the class?
Yes, because it's about how they are, how they are shaped at home, how they are brought up. It's the fundamentals and values that you are instilled at home that makes you who you are in the classroom. To a certain extent, you can say that the home environment does shape how they act in the classroom. For I have this, I've read it somewhere from people or students from the upper middle class, okay, the upper middle class or the middle class family background. They tend to value knowledge more, and they tend to behave well, and they cherish what they learn in the classroom. So when they have this appreciation to knowledge, they tend to act act better in terms of behavior, and they tend to focus more because at home they've been brought up with the value that knowledge will bring good things to you. I'm not saying that the lower class, or I say together, the less fortunate in terms of economic background are bad. However, the majority of them feel that knowledge is something that the, the the consideration towards knowledge is minimal, and I think they want to work, or they feel that what makes money is more important. I think so. But it this is not something that I can say for certain. However, this is from my observation. Okay. Something that is material, something that can make money, that one is much more important for them. However, this is not true for everyone. This is not true for everyone. There are people uh, from less fortunate economic background will still perform better. They will act better in classroom because they feel that knowledge can improve their lifestyle, or not their lifestyle, life quality. Yes, that's it for that's it. I think you want anything else?
So what if their background, for example, the situation at home, not in terms of economical, but in terms of the situation like abusive household, do you think that impacts their focus?
That's a definite yes. If let's say they come from a abusive household, then the concentration in the classroom will definitely be reduced. They will not be able to concentrate well because they have other problems. For a lesson to take place, a successful lesson in this case, they need to be able they need to have this they need to be in a stable uh, emotional state, or we call it affective state, whereby they are ready to receive the knowledge that the teachers are going to give them. So if they're not in a stable condition emotionally, psychologically, or whatever, they will not be able to focus in class.
All right, thank you for your answer, sir. For number four, as a teacher, how do you make sure that the students maintain their focus in your class when you are teaching?
Well, I can tell you it's not easy because, all right, there is no surefire way to go about it. I mean, if let's say you have like 25 students in the classroom, uh, you have to understand each and every one of them. And yeah, sure, you can categorize them. However, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So you have to try many ways. So a few of them, I have a few of them. So for me, I think it's the hook at the beginning of the lesson, how you attract the students at the beginning of lesson that will impact the rest of the lesson. So, for example, if let's say I want to teach them on how to write on that particular day, I will definitely give them something to think about. Okay, something provocative maybe, or if not provocative, something that is very relevant to them. So the hook at the beginning of the lesson is one way to keep or to maintain the focus, and then during the lesson itself, the instruction. Okay, so the instruction of the lesson, if let's say you want them to be involved, so you need them to feel that the lesson is how should I put it in this word? The lesson belongs to them. Yes. Okay. So this one is like, for example, project-based learning. Okay. So give them a project so they feel that the lesson belongs to them. Or if let's say we are not doing project-based learning, we can also do simulation. So they simulate something in the real world. So they feel that the lesson itself, oh, this is relevant to me because I will use it in the real world. That's the second one. The third one would be the content itself, how the content is relevant to the students. So if the content is not relevant to the students, then they won't be focusing, or they won't give their focus to the lesson. For example, we are talking, well, if we go back to your secondary school, we talk about marine life or biomarine. So most of the students will not find it something related to them because it's biomarine. Who wants to be a biomarine, a marine biologist? Right? So maybe a minority of them will, but not all of them. So the content, how you want to make it relevant to them, and then the next one would be how do you speak in class? How you deliver your lesson? I mean, you don't. Sometimes certain teacher can be boring in their presentation, so you find it, oh, this is not engaging, and it will only last for 3 minutes, and then the rest will be history. We'll be sleeping in the classroom. And then you can also try different interactional methods. For example, you can ask them to do pair work, you can ask them to do group works. Okay, so when you do this, they will not feel that, oh, it's not about me. It's not about me. I will not continue studying. So when you do these different types of interaction, they will actually, oh, it focuses much on me. So in that way, you can maintain your focus in the classroom. Okay, right.
Okay, thank you for the answer, sir. So for the fifth question,
Mm-mm.
is the method that you use to maintain the students' focus in the upper classroom differ from those in the lower classes?
So yes, like I've mentioned before, people, okay, right, students from the upper classes have different motivation from those who are from the lower classes. I'm not comfortable using this term, all right? However, if you for this context, yes, these students have different triggers and interests. So sometimes people from the upper classes learn just because they love the knowledge to learn something new. So it's how you play into these triggers and interests, the psychology of things. So I mean, if let's say from the lower classes, I mean, the less motivated classes, you need to actually find what triggers them, what motivates them to learn. So something that is very related to them. They want to do something that is very related to them and their background. So you have to change the content maybe to make it fit, but the thing that you want to teach is still the same, right? So because we are teaching skills, so you need to adjust a few things. So coming back to the question, is the method used? Yes. Okay. It's different.
It's different. So if it is different and it's just a change of context, can you give some example on how different it is between the upper classes and the lower class?
Mm. Okay. So if example, I ask them to write something, okay, to comment. No, that's okay. For example, if I want them to write on that particular day, write a letter, example. So for people from the upper class, so I can give them like any context that I think they that they need to do in able for them to perform better, in the language and exams. But if let's say for the lower class, I need to go and consider who are they going to write this letter to. So the context should be something that is very close to them. So I ask them to write a letter to their girlfriends or boyfriend, or if let's say I don't want them to write to their boyfriend or girlfriend, I'll give them a context that you are writing a letter to somebody asking them to do something or giving them advice on something. So all the situation is something related to them. So for example, if let's say for the low class, I cannot ask them, you need to write a letter, giving advice to your friend in America on how to further your studies in Yale or Cambridge, for example. So that is something that is very removed from them. So for them, when you change the context, you need to write to your friends about you need to write to your friends giving advice about how to make money or how to study better. So all those things need to be in your consideration. So something more relatable to them rather than something that is very advanced, should I say, context. But again, it depends. Sometimes in that particular classroom, you can find surprise. They can relate to something that is foreign to them because nowadays we have social media, right? So they are up to date to a certain extent to the other contexts and whatnot, right?
Yeah, I agree with you, sir. Okay.
Okay.
So for the next five questions have the different objective from the previous five. So the objective of these next five questions would be knowing the elements that influence a student focus at class. So for
Mm-hmm.
the first, does the class environment plays a major role to ensure the students pay attention in the classroom. For example, is the color of the classroom and the posters in the classroom matter for the focus?
Yes, yes. It's the I mean, if you mean it physically, yes, it does influence the attention span or how they pay attention in the classroom. It's all about the positive uh, the positive effect of what in the classroom that affects the students' attention. So for one, it's the facilities, of course, whether they are in good condition. So the fans are working, the furnitures, the if let's say you have a whiteboard, you can use it, and then the notice board and the ambience of the classroom. And so that means the color, what do you have on the notice board. So everything actually helps to make the student pay attention more in the classroom. Rather, and of course, you have the teacher and how the teacher makes the classroom comfortable. However, yes, in this context, in your case, if let's say if the classroom is in good condition, you have the climate, the proper climate, it helps the students to pay attention. Yeah.
Okay, so what about their environment in terms of their friends? Do you think that having more friends will help them to pay attention, or do you think it's better to have less friends in the
Well,
class?
that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? So you need to, so depends on who you surround yourself with. So people with like-minded attitude, like-minded, how should I say, people who, in this case, people who are able to gel well together and they have the same goal, positive goal, then that will help to make their attention span better. Okay, so meaning here, so let me rephrase that, kind of hard for you to transcribe later. Uh, so yes, if let's say your friends in the classroom, if let's say they have a positive goal, they will make the students pay attention more in class. So because they drive each other.
All right. So for the second question, do you think social media impacts the students' attention span in class now that we are in era where even students know how to use them?
Yes. In a way, yes. The generation is shaped by their habits. So in this context, social media. So social media nowadays something that is quick. It is quick. It is very engaging and very relevant. So this kind of things, this media, okay, has trained the students, uh, not has trained the students to consume things very fast. And when it goes over a certain period of time, the attention span of students, in this case teenage, will drop significantly. So if you go on social media, on average, you can see content like less than 5 minutes. Especially on TikTok, they are lesser and they are like seconds or less than 1 minute. So this kind of things train the students' brain to pay attention less. Okay, so if you go over like 4 minutes or 5 minutes, you can have a reduced attention span. So yes, in a way, social media does impact the students' attention span in class because it trains the students to pay attention to things that are quick, fast, and engaging. That's the thing. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for the answer, sir. So next, do you think that the students that are more focused in class are bound to perform better in examination compared to the ones that don't focus?
A definite yes. If they focus more in class, then they will perform better. So if let's say this also applies for certain for those students who go for tuition classes outside. So they tend to focus more in their tuition classes. So in this case, it's the same thing. So they can perform better because they pay attention in that particular class. Maybe you find them not concentrating in the mainstream class or the official class. However, they give their focus in their tuition class. So both context is the same. If you give attention, then you perform better.
So thank you for the answer. And next, do you think that the students can focus more in class if they limit their social media usage outside of the classroom?
Oh, probably. This one is something that I can't say for certain. However, if they limit their social media usage and shift their focus to something else, more healthy activities, like for example, what? For example, if they do outdoor activities, they read books. You know, books requires or train your mind to focus more, to focus longer. And then the outside activities will make the brain to focus better because it brings in all the oxygens and whatnot. So if you limit your social media usage outside, it's probably gonna help you because when you go on social media, you tend to have doom scrolling, right? So contents that are quick and engaging, okay, you consume it after one another. So it trains your brain to focus less than it should be, and then you move on to next content. However, moving or limiting your social media usage is very hard because the young generation is hardwired into the system, kind of like the matrix.
Yeah, true. That's true. So last question, sir.
Yeah.
What are other elements that may impact the students' attention span in class, in your opinion?
Well, there are a few things I think that can impact students' attention span in the class. For one, it's the motivation for learning. Okay, so this can be intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic means that something that comes within you, your attitude, right? So we mentioned it earlier. There are these people who has the grit, they want to improve themselves. So that's the motivation that comes from themselves. Some students, they want to learn because they want something new. They want to learn something new. Some students who, for example, they learn for the sake of learning. So that's from themselves. The extrinsic is students who want to learn because they want to be rich in the future. Because they want to use that knowledge, they want to get better income in the future. Or they learn it because, for example, if I do well, I will get some incentive from parents. So depends on the motivation. So this will definitely impact the students' attention. And for example, what's the relevance of the students learning that particular subject? Like for example, additional maths. Okay, additional maths. Some people find it not relevant in their daily life. Why do I need to learn this? Okay, I will not use this in my real life. So it depends. Okay. And then the subject itself, Okay, the subject itself, for example, if you want to learn because English is very interesting to you, okay, so that applies for all the other subjects, like chemistry. Why do I need to learn chemistry? Do I need it for me to build a bomb? So why you want to learn the subject itself? So if let's say you don't find chemistry interesting, then you will not have a very good attention span in that particular classroom. And then the next one that I could think of is the approach of the teacher itself in the classroom. So this is actually, I think, a very important element in the classroom. That's how the teacher attract the students to learn. This is the part whereby most teacher will find it very hard to do, because the approach itself depends on how close you can get to your students, okay, to have them interested in your lesson. Okay, so that's the approach. And then the last one, I think, is what influence the student attention span is the brain attention span. So let's say for your age, your health, okay, your brain attention span. So usually young adults have short attention span, okay. So as you get a bit older, like in your 20s, you have longer attention span. But as you age longer, yeah, if you age further, your attention span tends to get lower. So it goes like this. Okay, it goes up and down, right? And then your health, definitely your health, your mental health also affects your attention span. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the four things, the four elements that influence the students' attention span in class.
Okay, thank you for answering the questions, sir. Now, before I end the interview, may I know a little bit more about you as a teacher? Like, where have you teach and for how long, and so on?
Mm. Okay, so for your record, I was a teacher in SMK Chukai, Kemaman Terengganu for 9 years. I've taught English to the mainstream students from Form 1 till Form 5, and I also taught the Form 6 students, MOHAD, for a couple of years there. And afterwards, I moved to KPM for promotion to bahagian pengurusan sekolah berasrama penuh. And then after a while there, now I am teaching in Institut Pendidikan Guru in Campus Ilmu Khas in Cheras. My position here is an English lecturer.
So, did you move because you miss teaching, sir, from the pengurusan work, from the management work?
Oh yes, I definitely miss teaching. I mean, I feel that if I don't use the knowledge, my knowledge will rot. It will be it will not be a very good thing if, let's say, I let my knowledge not usable for a very long time. So yes, I miss teaching.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for your time
Okay.
today. And see you.
Okay.